On today's episode, we have 3 great recipes for your next tailgate. Hey everybody, and welcome back to At the Table. It's that time of year. We're heading into football season, so today we're going to whip up some yummy, delicious tailgate recipes. So to get started, we are going to make jalapeno poppers. Now, a lot of people like to fry theirs, but these are going to be baked today. So we do need to cook up some bacon. You'll need about 6 strips of bacon. And I went ahead and cut mine in half. I just think it's a little more manageable that way. You're gonna put them in a pan over medium heat. And you may have to do it in a couple of batches. That's perfectly fine. And you want to cook this bacon until it is nice and crispy, because we're going to chop it up and put it into our stuffing that goes into our jalapenos. So I've got all of that in the pan. I'm going to wash my hands. All right, so while the bacon is cooking, you can go ahead and cut your jalapenos. And all you're going to do, as you can see here, you're just going to cut them in half, and you're going to take out the seeds and the white membrane that's in there. That's usually where the heat is housed at, is in the membrane of the pepper. And then once you have them halved like this, you're going to turn them cut side down, and you will put them into a 500-degree oven, because we want to get these peppers, we want to start the cooking process for the peppers. And the funny thing about jalapenos is, you know, one time you get them and they're like super hot, and the next time you get them, they're mild and not much heat there at all. I've even heard where they're trying to develop a jalapeno that has no heat at all, which, what's the point of that, right? I like a jalapeno. So just periodically check your bacon, flip it over. Now your jalapenos that you just put in the oven, they're going to cook for about 5 minutes. We just want them to start to soften. Let me start my timer. All right. So while the bacon and the jalapenos are cooking, we can start on the filling. So for the filling, you're going to mix cheddar cheese, 4 ounces shredded cheddar cheese, about 4 ounces of Monterey Jack shredded. You're also going to put in panko, about 4 ounces of cream cheese that has been softened, lime juice, cumin, and green onions. So let's go ahead and cut up our green onions here. Just take off the ends, and we want to slice these really thin. I learned a trick the other day. You know, you always wash your fruits, vegetables, even your herbs whenever you're cutting fresh herbs. make sure they're really dry before you start cutting them on your cutting board, or else they stick, right? And then you're scraping them off and they get stuck to your fingers. So just make sure your herbs are dry, your cutting board's dry, your knife is dry, and it will help pick those herbs back up whenever you need to add them to your dish. All right. And we're going to use the white and the green part here on these green onions. All right, that's enough. And I'm just going to go through and roughly chop these again. Just like that. All right, great. Also, never use the sharp side of your knife to scrape up your whatever you're cooking, because that will dull your knife. And we don't want a dull knife because that leads to cut fingers. All right. Getting everything here into the mixing bowl. So we're going to take a quick break. While we're gone, I'm going to finish cooking up the bacon and start shredding our cheese. See you guys back in a few minutes.
Welcome to Cork and Brew Roseboro, where you can enjoy your favorite coffee, fraps, smoothies, bakery items, sandwiches, and select beer and wines while reconnecting with friends and family. Sit down and enjoy the experience. Come on by and give us a try.
The average American household has 17 devices connected to the internet. With more and more devices able to get online, you may need to increase your internet speed. Call Star Communications today and let us help you select the package that's right for you.
Computer viruses, malware, and ransomware are out there. They're dangerous, and they can steal your identity and damage your equipment. Star Communications is now offering Protect IQ. This service adds an extra layer of protection to every device connected to your network, working quietly in the background. Star can help you protect yourself from the inside out with Protect IQ. Call Star today and take advantage of this free service when you sign up for whole home Wi-Fi with Star Communications.
All right, guys, we're back, and I'm here just shredding our cheese. Our peppers have come out of the oven, and they're soft. They're ready to be filled. And here I am just shredding our cheese. A tip here, the Monterey Jack tends to be a softer cheese than the cheddar cheese. So to make it a little easier to shred, you can stick it in the freezer for about 10 minutes and it'll kind of harden it up a little bit to make it easier to shred on your grater. And I've already added our 4 ounces of cream cheese to our bowl. All right, be really careful though. Don't scrape off any of your fingertips. We don't want any of that in our jalapeno poppers. All right, here's that wonderful cheese. So like I said, it's September, it's football season. Football, as we know it, American football, did not start until 1892. And it developed from rugby. So I think that's pretty cool. And then the first actual football game was between Princeton and Rutgers. I think it was back in 1869, I think, 1860s. So it's been around for a while, but not too long. All right, trying to get this all mixed together. Definitely make sure you take your cream cheese out beforehand so it can soften up. It'll make it a lot easier to mix. All right. I'm going to add in our lime juice. We need 2 teaspoons of lime juice. All right, there we go. And then about a tablespoon, or sorry, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon of cumin. And don't do like I just did and do your wet ingredients before your dry ingredients, because then you can't scoop out your dry ingredients. And then you need 2 tablespoons of panko breadcrumbs, or any breadcrumbs. All right. Again, mix this all together. You could also do this in a food processor to make it a little easier. And you can absolutely buy pre-shredded cheese as well for this. The thing I like about all of our recipes today is that they can easily be made ahead of time. So if you know you're going to a tailgate or to a party, you can make these the night before, stick them in the fridge, and then before you get ready to leave, just pop them in the oven to continue or to cook. And any sort of pasta salad is good the next day. Give the time for those flavors to marry up. All right. So the last thing we get to add in here is our bacon. So you just take your bacon, it's nice and crispy, and you just roughly chop it up. And if you want to, you can leave a couple of pieces out to kind of sprinkle on top of your poppers once they get done, and I think I'll do that. Add this in here, give it another good stir. You could easily make this into a dip as well. Instead of leaving the poppers whole or the peppers whole or halved, you can just chop them up really fine and add them into the cheese mixture, the stuffing. All right. Once you have everything mixed together really well, you can start filling your peppers. So you just take your pepper, take a spoonful of the filling and press it down. Ooh, don't throw it back into the bowl. Press it down into the pepper. And you'll do this with each one of your halves, and then you're going to pop them into the oven for another 5 minutes so the cheese can get all melty and kind of bubble up. And while we do that, or while we wait for those to cook, I'm going to stuff the rest of them, put them in the oven, and then we'll get started on our pasta salad. See you guys in a few.
Great communities attract talented people to live, work, and raise their families. We're committed to delivering future-proof broadband so our friends, families, and neighbors can live rich lives in smart rural communities across America. Your community is our community. We're your rural broadband partners. You do great things. We make great things possible.
Providing fewer commutes, more backyard offices, and crystal clear meetings. Providing less, you froze up, and more presence in your presentations. Providing a better internet experience. Providing possible.
All right, guys, welcome back. Our poppers are done. They are nice and bubbly and melty and cheesy. And like I said, I'm just topping these with a little bit of extra bacon. You can never have too much bacon. So here we go. And then here are our poppers. Like I said, you can definitely make these the night before. Just put them on your baking sheet, pop them in the refrigerator, and then whenever you get ready in the morning, just pop them in the oven for about 10 minutes just so they can, probably a little longer since they've been in the fridge, but I'd say between 10 and 15 minutes so they can warm up, the cheese can melt, and then you're ready to go. All right, so now we're gonna get started on our tortellini pasta salad. So I've got a pot of boiling water here, and we're gonna add about half a package of cheese ravioli. This is cheese ravioli. Should be tortellini, but this is fine too. And you can use any pasta you would like. You can use regular pasta that's not stuffed. That is perfectly okay. So put this in here. And remember, always, always salt your pasta water. And whenever I say salt, I mean salt it, like 2 tablespoons of salt. Now you're probably thinking, God, that's a lot of salt, but trust me, it's gonna boil out and it'll be fine. So bring this back to your pot back to a boil, and you're gonna let this cook for about 6 minutes. So set my timer here. You can give this a good stir. Don't want our pasta to stick together. All right. So it'll come back up to a boil. While we're waiting for our pasta to cook, we can go ahead and get started with the rest of the salad. So here in a bowl, I'm going to chop 1 bell pepper and a red onion. All right. Both of these have been washed. Remember, wash our vegetables and our fruits. And you're going to dice these really fine. You want small pieces here. So I like to cut mine into strips, like so. And if you lose one, that's okay. If you're like me at home, you have a furry friend that'll come by and clean it up for you. All right, and then just turn these around. And then just dice like so. And if you wanted to, you could absolutely use like a red bell pepper or yellow bell pepper. It's up to you. I just like the contrast between the green and the red onion. Also, another interesting football fact, players were not required to wear a helmet until 1943. I'm pretty sure a lot of those players back then had a lot of head injuries. All right, looks like our pasta's slowly coming back to a boil. And so along with the bell pepper and onion, you're going to add in about a cup of mini pepperonis, and also a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. And then on top of that, you'll add 1.5 cups of Italian dressing. And it can be any style of Italian dressing that you would like. All right. That looks like that's enough pepper for me. And then I don't want too much onion in here, so you can totally just do half of an onion. That's perfectly fine. And it's being a pain to peel today. All right, well, I'm gonna let this pasta continue to cook. We have about 3 minutes left on the pasta. I'll get all of our other ingredients into the bowl, and I will show you the finished product whenever you guys come back.
Eastern North Carolina is a beautiful place where we gladly choose to call home, and we strive to provide the best communications services. STAR is committed to improving communications to all our service areas because we want to improve the communities where we not only work, but also live. STAR Communications. We are neighbors serving neighbors.
All right, here we are, and we're back, and the pasta salad I have put together. I did forget to mention earlier that you do add a 3-ounce can of sliced black olives. Of course, those are optional. I know everybody doesn't like olives. And then you just stir it up and pop it into the fridge to cool down. Again, this is another easy tailgate recipe that you can make the night before. All right, so that is done. And now we're gonna move on to our last recipe, and that is our $1 million dip. So you'll need a bowl, and we're gonna add in 8 ounces of sharp shredded cheddar. Just like that. And then we're also gonna add in 1.5 cups of mayonnaise. This reminds me a lot of a pimento cheese almost. There's a half. All right. Sticking with the football tidbits, what we know as the NFL today was created in 1920, and the Arizona Cardinals were also developed during that time, so they are the oldest original NFL team. All right, so that is 1.5 cups of mayonnaise. And then to that, we're gonna add about, I'd say, 1/4 cup of almonds. This is gonna just give it a little bit of crunch, and these are slivered almonds. All right, that looks good there. And then we're gonna add in 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then lastly, we are going to chop up some more green onions. And for this part, we're only going to use the green. So I'm going to cut off the white ends. Now don't throw those away. You can absolutely throw them into a freezer bag, keep them in your freezer with other veggie scraps, and they're really great to make a broth with later on. So just thinly slice these. Now this dip here, it can be served with chips, it can be served with crackers, however you want to, whatever vessel you'd like to use to get it into your tummy. If you want to be extra healthy, kind of, maybe, you could put it on some celery. All right, there we go. Chop these up one more time. Put them in there. All right. Once you get all your ingredients in the bowl, you just give it a good mix, stir it all together. May have to go slow at first. There's a lot going on in this bowl. And you could absolutely change out the type of cheese that you use in this recipe. You could omit the almonds if you don't like almonds. Kind of endless possibilities with this. You could add jalapenos instead of green onions. It's completely up to you. And again, something that can be made the night before, put it into a storage container and you're ready to go. All right, so that's thoroughly mixed. If you feel like that's too much mayonnaise, you can add a little more cheese in there. You could add more almonds. It's up to you. So there we have it. And you would just, like I said, put this into a container to take with you. And there we have 3 easy tailgate recipes that will please everybody at your tailgate party. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.